This PSA was brought to you by The Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the faucet.
We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter.
Yeah, I want.
Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on.
He likes it. It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorce dad, single dad, divorce dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
Hey, everybody. It's that time again, right here. Wednesday. Hot summer day. That's right, hot. But it's really great to be here. I hope everybody's doing well. As always, I appreciate you tuning in to Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show, right here every week, like clockwork. Tonight, come here. Got a really good show. It's going to be a great show. Tonight I have psychic medium Amie Balesky on the show. And let me tell you something. Top of the heap. I'm a big fan. She talks to dead people. Really well, too. Really well. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. She's not asking you questions. She's telling you stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this tonight. I've been endlessly trying to get her to come on the show because she's so busy. And tonight's the night, finally. And I hope you guys buckle up, pay attention, have a seat, and enjoy, because it's not only what she does, it's her philosophy behind it and her story behind what she does. And I find it fascinating. I just do. But that's a big deal. At least to me it is. And I was hoping that my interests will interest you, because you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm really stoked about this. Finally. So that's it. She'll be on in a few minutes. Gonna wait for her to pop on because she's actually working and then jumping on and coming straight on to this show while she's in the zone. In the zone. I got to get in the zone. I do. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. More than halfway through the year. It's friggin' amazing. I can't believe it. We're well in the thick of summer now. And we're on the backside now of going into the second half of the year. And it just blows my mind how fast time is going. In some cases, I can't wait to get a little bit further ahead to settle some life issues with everything going on in this world. But in other ways, I don't like pushing time because time is going way too quickly. And that's it. But I'm grateful for every day, and I hope you are too. And I'm truly grateful for you guys watching. Don't forget the podcasts. If you can't watch the show physically, because, I admit it, you got to be able to have time to. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm doing this show, but the thing is, for you guys, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the show. But if you can't watch the show, Google Peter G Podcast. Take the show on the road with you. Take the show with you wherever you're at. You could be at the beach. You could be, driving in your car. You could be at work, because who the hell wants to be at work? So at least pass the time and get what's going on with this show every week. You just Google Peter G Podcast, and we're on a multitude of podcast platforms as well. And, from your Apple podcast to listening. There's a bunch of them. I started trying to look and see because it keeps growing, but just Google Peter G Podcast. It'll take you to one of them. They're all, going to play these shows. And happy listening. But you can take it on the road with you. And I appreciate those who do. And you know what? And chime in, leave a comment. I want to know who's watching from where, who's listening from where. It's a big deal. It's growing, and I'm very, very grateful to all of you guys. I am. But I also want to tell you next week, where we at? Next week, Wednesday, July 20th. It's going to be a combo show. One guest, two different subjects, completely opposite. But it wasn't meant to be that way. But once I got him for one topic, we fell into conversation about another one, and I feel it's very. I feel I need to talk about that too. I might as well. Next week, longshoreman at the Port of Los Angeles, Mr. Matthew Myers is going to come on. Now, I've been trying to get a hold of him too, back when we were having all these shipping issues and we're having problems. And, I was watching, I found him on TikTok too. He does all these little videos about how the containers come off the ships and the trucking and the automated robot trucks and all that kind of stuff. And he finally, we finally got to talking, and he said he'd come on and talk about a good bit of that stuff. Some stuff he can't talk about because I'm sure there's some, he would love to talk about it, but he's a union guy, and they have to keep it on the down low, regardless of what's right and what's wrong. But anyway, we're going to talk about and show a few videos of how everything's operate over at the Port of Los Angeles, one of the busiest ports in the world. And on top of that, I'm talking to him, and we're asking each other questions. He was married, but he lost his wife to ALS. Now, ALS to me is a nasty disease. I've lost more than a handful of friends, good people, to ALS. And, it gets talked about. And I remember there was the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge a few years ago and things like that. But the bottom line is I still know that there's a lot of people who do not understand what ALS is. And so he lost his wife of many years. They have grown children, and we're just going to touch on that and talk about that, on the hardships, on how debilitating that disease is. It lets you just slowly deteriorate in a very cruel way. And we're going to talk about that too. But he just happens to be a longshoreman. And again, I don't care how much money you make in this world. I don't care how popular you are, how poor you are, how rich you are, how good looking you are or not. When you get sick, doesn't matter how much money you have or how good looking you are or how great of a job you have. When you get sick, it's a level playing field, and it sucks. And I think health is more important than anything, and it's a big deal. So we're going to talk about that next week, July 20th. Be right here. More exciting stuff. Things you need to know. Speaking of needing to know, did I tell you guys that I've been taking recently this Nugenix GH Boost right here? I pour it into a bottle of water. I shake it up. Tastes kind of fruity, pleasant to drink. And but let's face it, guys. Can I tell you a little secret? We're not 20 anymore. And this isn't like a ginseng like Pepsi thinks it is or anything like that. This is a growth hormone booster because like they say, some people lose testosterone, some women lose estrogen, all that kind of stuff. This stuff, after I take it about an hour or two before bed, and it just starts. You can tell that something's going on after I drink it. And when I go to sleep, when I finally get to sleep, I sleep hard. I'm dreaming, and that means you're getting a good REM sleep. And I'm pretty sure it's this because I wasn't doing that up until I started taking this. And it's helping me, push myself a little bit harder on some of the things that I may or may not feel like doing. And I think it's helping. But again, Nugenix GH Boost. You can get this stuff over at GNC nutrition stores or Amazon, or you just find it. But they're actually making pretty good stuff, and I'm kind of happy with it. But I guess I'm telling you, just like not bad. Not bad at all. This portion of the Peter G Show is brought to you by Nugenix GNC Boost. Available at all GNC nutrition stores. Nugenix. Woo. Okay. Hey, one other thing I want to tell you while we're waiting on Amy's going to pop on any minute now, hopefully. I started the show out on Facebook. and long time ago. Feels like ages ago, but several years ago, I started doing Facebook, and I said, you know what, I'm going to use Facebook like a channel. I'm going to be on Facebook Live that was 2019, I think, and then we were doing shows before that, but the live shows like right now. I mean, we're multi-streaming now. You can find us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, several pages. It gets uploaded to the iTunes podcasts. It gets uploaded to BitChute, Rumble, TLB Talk. It goes to several different clip places where short clips are played, like TikTok, Instagrams. But in the beginning, we started out with Facebook, and I figured because I had a big Facebook crowd, and I still do, love my Facebook people. And as much as sometimes Facebook drives me crazy, I'm going to tell you one thing that I do like with them is that they bring back memories. Those of you Facebookers know, like today, they will show me things that I put up and posted last year, the year before, 10 years ago. Like my little girl, every day almost, I'm showing her pictures that I posted of her. She graduated kindergarten a couple of days ago, 10 years ago. Things like that. And I mean, I truly, truly love that, enjoy that. Because it just I get to see all these little things that just, were amazing to me. They're still amazing to me. I know they are for you guys too. All those moments, my parents, friends, family, just everything just comes up. And I truly, as much as, Facebook's got its, I got my quorums with them, but all I can say is, you agreed to go on their platform. What do you want for nothing? And Facebook fed me the idea about doing this show live and getting people to call in, because people are posting what they ate. People are posting that they lost a parent, they lost a relative, they lost a friend. I feel that. They feel it. They're wanting somebody to listen and understand that, hey, prayers, I'm going in for surgery tomorrow. Hey, I'm at the ER and things are really rough. And they truly mean well by wanting that to happen to them. So I'm saying that, thank God for the one thing about Facebook that doesn't drive me nuts is the memories. And I'm thankful for that, because I get to see them from years gone past, and I repost them. So I hope you're checking those out, because even clips of this show, I repost them, and there's some good stuff there. And it reminds me of the old days. The old days was the evolution of this show when it started was, it's quite a difference. I still like it, but we're bigger, better now, but it was quite something. So check out all those memories clips, because they're really something. And Facebookers, again, you're my biggest crowd, and I do appreciate everybody, the way they tell the truth and chime in. And speaking of chiming in right now, this is a very happy moment in my life, because I'm getting ready to talk to somebody who I've worked on for 9 months, almost 10. So Amy, are you ready? Shake your head for me, baby. Can you hear me? Oh yeah, she's ready. She hears me. Okay, so I told you I had psychic medium Amie Balesky on the getting ready to come on the show, and she's sitting in the wings right now waiting to come on the show. And I feel like a giddy schoolgirl right now. So it's I am thrilled. I hope she's tuned. I know she's in tune right now. I'm hoping she's in the zone, because I got questions. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure, and I mean truly my pleasure, because I don't know why, but this top of the heap, folks. And you're going to find out why as I give her a deep interview. But my new friend, and I want her to be yours too, Miss Amie Balesky.
Well, you're good to see you. Absolutely terrible. Hello, can you hear me?
I can. You're super, super loud for some reason. Hang on.
Oh, that means my mic is working really, really well.
Okay, let me readjust it, because it's for some reason the noise canceling is not noise canceling. Okay, talk to me.
Okay, you tell me now. How does that sound?
I'll work it out. There you go. How are you?
I'm well. I'm absolutely exhausted. Had testing early this morning at 6 a.m. and running off of 3 hours of sleep, but we're good. Can you hear me okay?
It's almost overloading. Is there anything? Do you have a volume control on your end, or you don't?
No, not. Mm-mm.
All right. I got it. I don't know what problem is once I'm live. I normally test with people ahead of time, but you were so busy, and once I'm live, I can't monitor what goes on afterwards. And Pepsi happens to be absent today. My Ed McMahon. It's okay. But
Okay.
look, I want to thank you for giving me the time. And finally, I up until 2 minutes ago, I'm still sweating it because
No, I know. I literally just finished my session like a minute ago. I haven't even gotten more tea yet. So,
you should have done that.
boom. And I still got the cup. Yeah, so welcome in. Wait, where'd you go? Are you not going to be here? There you are. Okay.
Okay. So, listen, I was just telling people earlier about you that, I found you on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I was so stoked. I mean, I got to tell you something. Even on Wednesdays, you come on to TikTok on Wednesdays a lot during the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't get work done because I'm doing a quick little scan as to what's going on, here and there. And I can't. And then I'm sitting down watching you, and I'm supposed to be working. So because I still am infatuated. You're not only a psychic medium. When you come on to TikTok, 4 or 5 days a week?
4.
And 4, and you just talk about the philosophy behind what you do and life. And you're not doing readings. You talk about a few readings that you've done, but you talk about a lot of really good life stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Because people are the most right now, especially the younger generation, they're depressed. They don't know where they want to go. Their value system has been adjusted or defamed, and they're trying to find self-worth, but they're trying to find all their self-worth in outside things and then blaming it when it doesn't build them up. But the only place you can find value is in oneself, and you have to work on building that up inside. So I think we need to give, the younger people, even like the middle age and the older generation that, we need to give them those tools. It's not on things, it's on what's in here. So we need to teach that.
I get that. But I mean, look, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, because, I've been bragging about you for months to other people. In fact, I was trying to get one of my gatekeeper. He's working on another show right now in New York. I'm like small potatoes for him, but I'm so thankful to have certain people in my life that help this show roll. And he's had some bad experiences with psychics. In fact, he even went and held somebody's hand to go. Well,
I don't know if you're going to have lottery numbers, because that's all frivolous bullshit. I just talk to dead people. That's it.
Well, I get it, but I really wanted to, the only way to me, that you can really convince somebody who doesn't believe, I have people that don't believe that your spirit, that once you're gone, they feel you're gone, and that's that.
Have they never looked at or read in quantum physics or understood the properties of energy? It's a pretty basic concept. All you got to do is read a book.
Well, Amie, look, I mean, I believe, I really hope that you're still a little tuned in, because I would like to, you to, I don't know what's going on, but, let's start from the beginning real quick, and then hopefully you'll still be in the zone. I want to, but you started, you're pretty young, as far as I'm concerned. And you started at a very young age, correct?
Yeah, at 5. But I didn't really start. I'm trying to find my headphone things. No, I didn't start it. It kind of found me. I mean, what was it? I was 5. I had Wilms tumor. I lost my right kidney on July 4th, in 1995. I went into the hospital, and they found out that I had a tumor the size of a grapefruit that was surrounding my kidney, and they rushed me into the emergency room in the hospital, and they tried to take it out. They couldn't, so we bled out, and they waited another couple of weeks. It grew bigger and bigger, and then that's when shit hit the fan. And after that experience, that was the first near-death experience, things just started happening. But you being 5, You don't know anything different. You're just being a kid. You just don't even care. I mean, it just grew and grew from there. I had a best friend in the hospital. He was, 14? I was 5 at that time, because at that point in Texas Children's, you had beds that were beside each other in the children's hospital in the ICU area. And we would go and we would play Super Mario together. And then he ended up dying a day after I got released from the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the thing is, look, I've been almost doing a psychic a month lately because I'm trying to enlighten my people,
Mm-hmm.
and I've learned that, in my opinion, psychics are almost like musicians. I told you on a conversation on the phone earlier that I've been a musician my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and there's different levels of musicianship, but yet we're all musicians.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that play at their house and just jam and they're happy being a musician. And then there's the guys that do arenas and the guys that are so mind-blowing, phenomenal that off the top of the top. So I'm learning that every psychic has different quirks or quorums. Like, some get worn out. Some it's just happening.
Everybody gets worn out. It all. So if you're doing it, and if you're like, right now, I'm absolutely fucking exhausted. And so I've gone for 5.5 hours of just pure channeling. I don't take breaks. There's no magical 30 minutes in between. It's just straight up. Think of studying for the hardest test you've ever had in your life in math. And then everybody is expecting you to get straight A's the entire time. Otherwise, your entire life is dead. Right? That's the whole thing. It's pretty intense stuff. And then it's something that just naturally flows through you. So I'm not a psychic, I'm a medium. That's different. So a psychic is somebody that goes through and they're like, in 9 years you're going to get married. That's not it. Your spirit. I'm going to start on a rant probably, so just tell me to shut up if you want me to. So everything is energy, right? So let's just go on basic construct and how all this shit works. So everything is energy. Everything around you was once a thought. Everything in this freaking room was once a thought. You were a thought. I was a thought. Sometimes we're more thoughts than others. And so when you break your entire body down, let's just do your physical body. You break it down. What do we have? You have your organs, and it goes into cells, and then you break that all the way down. And what do you have? You have protons, you have neutrons, and you have things called electrons, and you have things called quips. Those are little sparks of energy. That is all you are. You're just buzzing forms of energy that's buzzing together. Light is reflecting off of you, and our brain says, oh my God, that's solid. But it's not. I should technically be able to put my hand through my other hand, not a problem. But it's because the rules that are here in this physical universe, right? So wherever you do something, an equal and opposite action occurs, right? That's how that happens. And so we can't do that. So in this physical construct we're in right now, or this version of reality, all we are is buzzing protons and neutrons together to create a physical form. Then, on top of that, you have this charge. People like to call it a soul. I like to call it source. That comes in and it controls or takes advantage of this meat suit or this clump of cells or this clump of energy together, and it moves it around, and it has an experience. It's a larger consciousness than what you are. And when people say, oh, that's not it, you don't know. You have no idea. We didn't even know that there were microorganisms 100 years ago that were killing people. We were going through and put leeches on people's asses, saying that this is going to fix it. And you're telling me that you know what God and source you are? Ha! Walk away. It's like it's all it is energy. Everything is energy. And even me, you are not Peter G. You're not Peter. You're not a man. You are just playing a male meat suit, and you call yourself, it's a vibration. The word that I'm saying is Peter is just a vibration. It's energy you're picking up, and you're saying, oh, this means Peter, which means me, which is representative I, which is not you. And so it just, if you break it down and get all of the small-minded bullshit, you realize that everything is open. It's all just there. And so whenever you're channeling and you're going into meditation or you're going into channeling somebody, you are energy, you are a frequency. I am energy, I'm a frequency. Again, break it all the way down, right? And so certain people, think about it as music. Certain people have different tunes about them. They have different frequencies about them. And so when you're a medium, and if you actually do it, you tune into that vibration of that person, that specific notes, those specific characteristics that make them them. And so then after that, again, your source is what powers all this crap. And so you're going and you're tuning into this source, and that has its own vibrational frequency. And that is what we don't lose when our meat sack dies. Because at some point, it cannot hold consistency, this large level of energy walking around it the entire time. So it dies. Why? Because your listeners learn here. Then move on. Leave. Go. And so, but that doesn't mean you can't still tap into it. Right? That's like saying, I can't go and replay that song, but it's already been done. It's still there. It's going to hit play.
But see, that's where I get where some people go, yes, I believe there's a heaven, but I believe that, once you die, you go to heaven, whatever that version of heaven is, and that's it. You're not talking, nobody's talking to you, nobody's coming back and, saying or doing anything. And I don't know how to, I think the only way to convince them is if they actually sat down and you told them something that nobody else in the whole world could know.
Well, correct. So it's not my job to convince anybody. First off, whatever your belief is, then that is what you are going to believe. It is not my job to convince anybody. Same, it's not your job to convince me that eating a shit sandwich is going to taste good. Right? Nobody's going to do that, right? So think about it this way. Whatever your thoughts are, whatever your belief systems are, that is what you will be. I would like to use this analogy. If there is 2 pieces of bread in front of you, peanut butter, jelly, the lids are off, there's knives in it, and there's instructions in front of it, and then you come up and it tells you how to do it, and you walk and you say, no, I don't believe that that's there. I'm not going to do it. Well, you're not. I can't convince you of anything. I can only give you what I've experienced, my personal experience, and if you want to learn more, then come on. But I don't like, well, I don't even say I don't like it, because, we're in this universe right now. We're in this reality because we're here to learn, right? Not everybody is going to be on this level or this area or this thought process that I am. Not everybody is going to be on the level of Hitler. Not everybody is going to be the level of, Betty Crocker. I mean, everybody's having their own experience. And so if they want to come and pop into our own, realities and understand and learn more, then they can. But it's not my thing to convince them. I know that what I experience, I know what I feel, and I know what 13,000 other people have experienced with it, right? So, at that point, I don't know what to do. Another thing too is when somebody comes in and they say, I don't believe this. It's not my job to prove anything different. Your words are powerful. Your words are vibration, right? You can go and you can say, I don't love that person, right? You can say that even though you do. You can make things happen. Your words, everything in this room, like I said, was once a thought, was once words, right? You thought about, or I thought about you, or you thought about me, you spoke to me, and now we're here. Right, so it's like a version of what thought process, word, vibration, and now it turns into physical manifested reality. And so if your thought process, the very beginning, is this is not real, then it's never going to be real. And I don't need to convince your thought process of that. But if you want to come in, you want to learn, then yeah, let's talk about it. I'm more than happy to show you all of my evidence that I've kind of come up with, over the years. And honestly, it's hard to. It's very hard to explain, especially when you're so deep rooted and only in this area and you haven't seen outside the box, right? Or you haven't had a good near death experience, or you haven't seen the wonder in a baby's eyes, or you haven't realized that your thoughts, your words, and your feelings all dictate what your current universe and your stats are. When people haven't realized that everything in their own area is created by them, then what I do is going to be pretty hard. I mean, what you thought about me, now look, I'm here, right? I thought about you, look, we're here, right? I thought about doing this, now we're here. It's super powerful.
Oh, okay, but this is what I want to ask you, because I happen to catch a little clip of you. I catch a lot of clips of yours, but the other day you were saying you were sitting at a restaurant or something. What, because everything is constantly going through your head. I mean, you were constantly thinking, just like before you popped onto the show, you were sitting there for a minute or so before I was able to bring you on. I mean, what's going through your head prior to this? Because it just seems like you never tune out. You're always in.
Nothing. Well, that's the whole thing. So there's 3 different parts of you. So there's your thoughts, which control everything. That's like your mind. Your thoughts get jumbled. My favorite thing is my mom is a college professor. She retired last year, and so she taught trigonometry. And so she's always like, well, Amie, I think I'm going to do this tomorrow. I was thinking about doing this later on. I was thinking, but like she never does it, right? There's thoughts, there's words, there's actions. Thoughts fill our head, and we can never, like, it's just a lot of jumble. So people are like getting nervous about stuff or getting anxiety or whatever it is. I've learned how to not have that. So when I'm sitting there and living in the moment, when I'm sitting there and I'm looking at you, I'm simply looking, I'm listening, I'm being immersed into what you are and what you're doing. I'm not thinking about absolutely anything. Most of the time I have elevator music in my head. And it's because I've realized that most of it is not worth anything. Like right now, if I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you, and most people would be like, because it's what, 8:30 at night. You know, I haven't eaten since what, 9 o'clock this morning. And so most people at this time talking to you, we're not being immersed in the conversation. We're not talking. We're not connecting. They'd be like, well, what am I going to have for dinner? Well, what this? And when you say something, we're like, what? Excuse me, what did you say? And so it's all about being just in that moment and not letting anything else come in. And that's part of connecting. But most people have all this bullshit going on. And so they don't know how to connect. They're not living in the now. They're not connecting with the other person. We're connected by like what I'd like to call like a grid, like a energy, like a thing. And you can read that and pick that up on. Energy is not loud. It's soft. It's quiet. It's here. And if you just shut up, not talking about you, but you know, in general, populace, if they just shut up and get off their phone and get off Netflix and get unplugged and you just sit there for a moment. A lot of people are uncomfortable with that, like just sitting here and being quiet. Well, it's because you're picking up on everything. You're feeling everything. And it's almost like static. And you're just like, oh, my God, I don't like that. I have to be entertained. Oh, I have to be wired in. Well, no, if you get used to just sitting here, then you start to realize there's a lot of things going on around you. And there's a lot of other things that are happening that you can tune into. So that's what I'm always tuning into, because I don't let all the excess stuff get in here. Do you see?
I guess what I'm asking is, because when you said that you're at a restaurant or something, having something, and you're doing your I see dead people thing, you know, and so how often does that occur? Like now, like even right now, is it happening or not happening, or you know,
Right now, not so. There's a couple of things that go on with people that do shows, and with people, and usually I prep them beforehand. And when people are like, "Oh my God, you prep them," what do you mean? So when somebody's doing a show, like when I, you know, talk to Howie Mandel, or when I go on with like David Meltzer, like Gary Vee, or whatever it is. So there's two versions of people that are in show business. There is the persona, the ego they put in front. Okay, and that's the person that protects them. That's the one that asks all the questions. And then they have their intimate underside. Not saying down there. It's just who they are here. So you're curious. So if I'm sitting here and I'm feeling you have the outer ego that keeps popping in and out, and you can feel it. And that's not bad. That's her protection. That's what a lot of people give, and that's what people see generally. They're like, oh, that guy, I see how proud he is, right? But then, I'm not talking about you, but just in general. But then really on the inside, they're very sad, they're very meek, they're very hollow, and because that's their inner personality, they're not letting that shine. And so with you, there's like you have this mix of both. And so you have the outer ego, I see it, it pops out, and then it comes in. But this is the whole thing that's hard, because whenever you start channeling and you start like dealing with spirit or dealing with what you are, what they do is they hit on the core of what you are and who you are as a person. And when you're in show business and you're presenting this ego side, which isn't bad, that's just what people do, then it can get very uncomfortable for you to open that up and let me see that, or let me open that up. Like somebody keeps, hey, it's a thing. Well, it's because sometimes we don't want to be seen as weak, and like you're a very honest and open person. That's great, but there are still pockets of us that a lot of us don't want to be seen. Like they keep talking about daughter over and over and over and over again. Like right now, like it gets into that. So that means you're really, really emotionally tied and connected to your daughter, and you like absolutely adore her. Maybe there's like this big separate part that goes along with her that you wish you could be there more, and like this dragging back and forth thing. Like it's this, like, and there's stuff like that. But that would be a really, really intimate part that I personally, in front of thousands of people, wouldn't want to open up, because that's your intimate life with this person. Like they don't need to know about that.
Were you just making that up, or were you just telling that about me?
I'm telling you about you, yeah.
Okay, because I want to say that, when I started this show, I led by example, because we're just people. And I tell people, yes, some people pick up the, I think persona is everything, or some people make things more, and I try to bring people to tune it down a little bit, because I don't want people thinking that I'm Mr. Big Shot. I'm just a guy likes doing what I do. And I talk a lot about my personal life because I really want people to talk about their personal lives because it helps other people.
Correct.
And I don't meditate, because again, I'm changing a lot as I'm getting older. But I pray a lot. And it's the weirdest thing, but and I don't want to come off, I'm not Mr. Holy Roller religious. I got you. But the thing is, I want to ask you something because I know you say anybody can do what you do if they really wanted to do it. And I don't know, but when
maybe to the same level, but everybody can pick a guitar, right? And they can practice enough, but not everybody can be Led Zeppelin set the guitar. Right?
When I'm saying my prayers, because I say prayers for my family, my friends, my health, my future, my past, my child, everything. I try to cover the whole damn thing.
I worry about you getting colon cancer.
I'm sorry?
I thought about that the other day. After we got off the phone call, I had like this big thing about like a father energy that shows up. And like, I worry about you getting colon cancer for some reason. And so maybe you really need to take into account like what you're eating. But I think you've already like tried to do that, but like you get really frustrated. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm at that age where I have to, I'm not really worried about it, but I have to go get checked,
Oh, you're not gonna got checked yet?
No, I'm in the process of it right now. Yeah, not right now, this minute, but yeah, I'm gonna.
It's great. The gallon is amazing.
I'm gonna televise it because I told you I'm very open. But the thing is, when I'm praying, this is what I'm telling you. I don't know whether I'm psyching myself out because just out of the thought of the process, but I get tingly. I get this ting from my feet, and it goes up.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't know. I can't make head or tail. Because for me, I'm psyching myself out.
No. Okay, so let me tell you about that. So that is, this is the best way. Now, I'm just telling you based on my own perception and based on what I've experienced. It was always very, very hard for me because I'm a very logical, like I have my degree in accounting and business. Like that's what I do, right? I was a musician all my life. I had my violin, guitar, and we made it. I was in a screamo band. Like this is not like just some thing where it's like, let me put an incense stick up my ass and like crystals. That's not a thing. And so we'll talk about that later. But what happens when you either pray or meditate? Okay, remember prayer and meditation are the same thing. I pray. I always like to tell people I say pray. Why? Because you are focusing, you're taking a moment. Again, you're getting everything away. You're taking a moment, you're focusing. And you're focusing your good and your consciousness on a single point, right? For, I guess you'd say almost like the law of attraction. So you're connecting to your higher self, you're connecting to this higher vibration, which is love, which is God, which is source, which is where Yahshua, Jesus, they hang out and everything like that. And so you're aligning with your middle vibration, which is who you naturally are, which is where your higher self is, which is where it's God. And so when you start to pray, you'll get that creepy feel, not creepy, but it's like you get goosebumps. You'll get them from your toes and it's like a wave that goes like that. And then you'll be like, oh my God. And a lot of times, sometimes you'll be overrun with emotion and you'll just start tearing up for no reason. And other times you'll feel very at peace. And other times you'll be like, oh my God, what the hell was that? And so what that is, that's just you aligning with source. That's you aligning with what you are. And remember, like I said, everything is energy. Everything is frequency. Everything is a vibration. So just like in music, when you pluck a string, right? When you pluck a tune, boom, that can send that room all the way up. So you're just aligning with your true chord of what you are. And so you're aligning with your highest self. And so when we're talking about, remember how you're talking about heaven, we're talking about hell, we're talking about all that crap. So people like to use the term heaven because they think of like pearly gates and sparkly stuff. We think of riches. Remember, you leave all your shit here when you die. So it's not about that. Riches is love. Riches is joy. Riches is happiness. So think about the good place and the bad place as like keys on a piano. Okay, when you play lower notes on a piano, what does that sound like? Dark, deep, depressing, sad, cold, right? It's like dun 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 dun. And so I was a pianist, can you tell? And so that's this lower vibration. What also makes us feel? What does that music also make us feel? It can make us feel sad, depressed, angry. Why is all rock like hardcore, heavy metal in like this lower vibration, right? Why is all sad music like so sad down here? It's because it's in tune. So whenever you embody that feeling, which is also a vibration, right? So if you're angry and you murder somebody, or you rape somebody, or whatever it is, and you don't find enlightenment or alignment up here, then whenever you die, you match that vibration. So you go lower. Then you have, which is what we like to call the bad place. That's where like it's cold, it's dark, it's angry, because that's where all those frequencies are. Okay. Then you have this middle vibration, which is like here, where we're out on Earth right now, because we have the option to do good, and we have the option to be a shitty kitty. And so when we're here, we can move up or we can move down. And a lot of times people get very frustrated. So what do we have, like normal day-to-day feelings, or like anxiety? It's like a little bit of stress. It's befuddlement. It's like, what do you call it? Like worry and stuff like that. And so a lot of times some people, maybe those feelings, those emotions are way too much for them. So what do? They could like commit suicide, or maybe they're trying to mask those feelings, right? So what do? They do a lot of drugs and alcohol, and so then they die that way. So they've let those feelings and those emotions become them. And so what happens to them whenever they move forward? They get in this middle area, because that's what their frequency matches, and that's what people like to call purgatory, right? It's right there. And then when you go up, you have, think about the piano, da, 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 da. Everything is really happy when you play it up in the high octaves, and it's very heavenly, right? So it's like everything's up here. So you have the really high octaves, which is where, oh my God, love and excitement and happy and joy and peace and and so if you cross over and everything is well-rounded, like let's say we find peace, maybe you're suffering for cancer for 15 years and finally, you resolve it, everybody's at peace. Well, then you go over to what we like to call heaven, or the good place, right? And so now that doesn't mean that you can't move up, right? Because usually, I mean, when you're up here, you don't move down, but that doesn't mean you can't move up. But that also means that you have to find that in yourself. So the person that committed suicide because their girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with them, and they're just so depressed about it, and they can't figure it out, right? And then what they do is they blame, I died because you made me. One. And so what they have to do is they have to figure out, like, I died because it was a dumb idea, and I am the creator of my own universe, and I apologize for putting that on other people and myself, and I value life, and that, love is everything. And then your people around you help you move up. And so when they have that resolved within themselves, and when they smooth that out, then they move up. Okay?
Do they know to figure that out?
Yeah, they do. But a lot of people, just like in life, if you have somebody that is depressed and angry with being depressed, I'm mad that I'm not getting this job. I'm so pissed off that I'm not getting this. But you know what? Maybe they're not showing to work on time, right? Maybe they're not talking to their boss. Maybe they're being an asshole to their coworker. Maybe they're not finishing their stuff. But what do? They're blaming it on other people, right? And somebody else can come in and say, dude, you're messing up there. And they're like, shut up. No, it's really them, right? Like, that's what they do. And so when that person finally goes, you know what? Introspection. Maybe I was being a douchebag to this person. Maybe, okay, I'll do this differently. Okay. And then what happens? Resolve, and things start getting better for them. So it's the same thing over here. So what is it? It's the dying of the ego. It's stop blaming your downfalls on other people or other things. You're in full control of it. And once that resolve hits, then they move up. Yes.
Okay, but vibrations, you talk about people who are on drugs and alcohol and things like that. I mean, you have addicts and you have people that are like really on the dark end of the drugs and alcohol. What happens when you have people who are just happy doing drugs and alcohol and end up dying? I mean, but they're happy.
Okay, so what, have you ever met somebody fully that was 110% happy with doing 9 bags of heroin a day and leaving their family and living in a box outside?
I've never met anybody doing 9 bags of heroin a day, period. But
well, yeah, they usually die from that. But have you ever met anybody without you getting deep inside and understanding where those wounds are coming from?
I mean, just people that kind of stay medicated all the time and enjoy it. I'm sorry?
But why?
I don't know. But yet they don't seem depressed.
Well, because we haven't dove into that. Nobody's asked. Probably nobody's also taken the time to ask. You see, the person that's been getting high since they were 16, right? And they're 54. Well, they've never realized what it was like to find themselves and to find love. But then you end up finding out later on that they wrote in their diary after they died that the reason why they did that is because they were raped by their brother for 14 years.
I just find it fascinating. I mean, because the thing is, I see you a lot of times when you come on to do your TikTok things, because again, I do follow you a lot, and I do get distracted by watching you because I want to listen, which is not a bad thing. But I got other things I need to be doing. But shame on me for wanting to hear this, but I do, because I find it very worthy. Again, a lot of times you're in there and you go, so-and-so's around me right now. I'm getting ready to do this, and so-and-so's around me right now. I mean, I was kind of, the only way I figured that, like, my listeners, I think, believe me. I'm pretty sure that I get a lot of remarks that, I'm pretty true to the, I'm pretty straight shooter. And I just figured, I said, well, the only way, I didn't want to have a caller call in. And a lot of times people want to call and find out, And I've had a couple of things in my life go on, but I've been very lucky. My parents lived to a ripe old age, but they're no longer here. And I was hoping, I go, maybe you're going to pop on and somebody's going to, because I'm praying to hear from them all the time, just to prove a point, to make me feel, that, like, okay, I'm really glad to know I'm not just making this shit up in my head.
Well, and so that's another thing that comes on, is that there are, like I said earlier, and you weren't kind of like listening to it. So there's a father energy that shows up. So now we're talking about how, dad's here, dad's a party. We just figured that out, right? And so, like, there's stuff right there. But what it's not to, like, prove a point. Like, that's the whole thing. There are people that, I don't know, maybe because I just take it really, really seriously, we get in there, and it's not, I don't know, it's not for show. It's not pompous. It's not, and I hate the word when people go, well, you need to prove. Well, no, I don't need to. I have thousands of hours of everything. Like, I'm not here to be ridiculed or, like that. And yeah, we can, but that's also part of the reason why that stuff shows up earlier. And so another thing is, like, we need to be prepped. We need to be calm. We need to be relaxed. We need to be in a place where it's calming. Another thing is that when I was talking about, like, how on live where it's like so-and-so shows up. So that normally what ends up happening is that those are for clients, especially if they're like a middle vibration thing, right? So what example on that, and then we'll go over here. Hold on. Somebody's talking about their son is a lot louder than them, so that must be the father thing. Hold on. Hold on, here we go. Wait. So what will happen is wait. They must be East Coast or something. They're not on the West Side. I can tell you that. They're not from that place because they don't have that West Coast accent. Hang on. You must be from a place that's, like, really cold during. You come from a place that snows during the winter. Usually you're not from down south area. They just keep talking about going to a lake. Why do you ever go to a lake? Hold on. I kind of just want this father energy to have, like, a big bucket hat on and, like, a fishing pole and, like, going to a lake. I have no idea why. Like, that's just what I wanted to do. Hold on. Something about praying for our mother's safety. Maybe, I guess, with mom passing, that was, like, a really, really big, hard thing. We had to, like, watch it go through. Hold on. I know you love dad, but maybe we're, like, way more worried about mom because there's a lot of anxiety and stress that go along with that. Hold on. There's a lady that says that she's going to pick it up from the rear. So that means don't think that in a sexual way. It's just more like saying that she's the one that was, like, the go-getter and get up and go and, like, almost like pushing your father around to do things. Not in a mean way, but, like, she was, like, this, intense person. I feel like she would, like, bake cookies and kick my ass all at the same time. You're a mama's boy, 110%, or should have been. Dad watches out for your daughter. Hang on. So it's the least he can do. Are they from like Michigan or something like that?
Sorry?
Where are they from? That they have a hardcore accent. They're not South. They're not West. They're like you're either in center or in Northeast, but not hardcore New York.
My parents didn't have any kind of American accent. My mother was clean American, no accent, but my father had a heavy Greek accent.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, this is like a hardcore. I'm like, this is nothing down here. Hang on.
Spoken English.
Huh? Oh, okay. That doesn't matter anymore. So no wonder were you mommy's boy?
My mother was blind the second half of her life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I needed to be there. You know what I mean? She needed help.
So that's what that super nervousness is. That's you going like, oh my God, I hope mom. Because what they do is they show images of you being like, oh my God, I hope she's okay. I hope that's where all this anxiety and like feeling comes from. So you attach to the feeling and you work from there. Remember, all these things are like feelings, emotions. It's words. That's what all this is, and it goes very, very quickly. And mind you, this is without you. Hang on. She keeps saying that she needs to, you just need to hear that you're a good son. You just need to hear that you're a good son, that you're a good son. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. Hold on. I do the most for my kids. Like, so that's why there's like you're trying to do way more for them. I don't know. We'll get into that. They're taking me on a tangent. I'm bringing it back. Hang on. I wanted him to what? Your mom, I know your dad may have been like this type of person, but like your mom like rules him now for some reason. I know he wanted to be, but anyways, she like takes him on. I don't know. I think it's maybe because she was so helpless on other people for such a long time, like for other people doing things for her, that now she's trying to take on this intense role of being the person that leads everybody around. She's the person that guides you all the time. I still want. Hold on. Give me a second. Where's my notepad? Hang on. I kind of wish your daughter like had more time with her, and that like she would have got to know like the real version of her. Like, she's not in that state at all. She's a very nice. Maybe she got picked up and pushed around by your dad a lot early on. I don't want to get into the relationship of your parents like that. She's talking about like your dad must have had a temper. But he's a good guy. He's not showing himself as being negative, which is great. Mom's not showing himself as being. Mom is definitely a lot younger, and she's perfectly fine. She's been there. I think the biggest thing for her is just saying thank you. And I don't know where the guilt trip comes from. Hold on, I want to ask. This is without you doing any prep, and this is without me going into anything.
And you don't have to hold. I mean, whatever comes out comes out. I have because I.
Hold on. Let's see. Can you give me her first name only?
Of who?
Mom.
Mary.
Okay. Hold on. So instead of asking, "Hey, you, Mom," in your head, you say Miss Mary.
Or Mercy. Mercy was actually.
Okay, cool. It's very rude. So instead of hey, you did talk to me, like, there's still people. Hang on. There's some stuff I want to tell you off of camera. Hold on. I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to write that on the side. Hang on. I mean, I think there was really a closure. I don't know why she keeps taking me to the end of life over and over and over and over again. I don't know. There's like some unresolved stuff there that she's just not letting me in yet. Hang on. Hold on. When Mom passed, it was like a relief. It was a relief. What? It was a big relief. Because it's almost like somebody patting a horse after a race and saying, "You did good, you did good." Like, that's what it feels like. Yeah, she's okay. The mother energy is more heavy around you than your father. Your father's concerned with the health aspect, so I want you to go and get that done, like that colonoscopy thing that they brought up randomly earlier, which is also probably because you're doing it right now. You're like actively doing it. I don't think that would have an impact on you for like another 4.5, 5 years, but it may be going to like polyps in the beginning because the dad is nervous about that. But it's just because you're doing it, but you don't like it. So don't be too stubborn, because I don't want you to be the person that ends up saying, I don't need to go to the doctor. And then like you end up being like on death's door and you're like, oh my God, I wish I should have, I could have, like how stubborn dad is in a way.
No, I'm hoping to live to a ripe old age like they did. I mean,
I know.
I like life. I do.
I know you do. That would be, yeah. The other day when I talked to you on the phone, that was like one of the things that showed up, and I was like, I think you just need to go and like just be on that for another 4 years, and you'd be okay. Yeah, it's your mom is your main person.
See, and that's weird because it just doesn't feel like that to me. I don't know why.
Fine. Can I tell you about that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So what happens? It's very hard for you to feel your own people. Okay, why? So the best way for me to describe this is, say you are in a cool, like a normal, air-conditioned home, right? And you walk outside and it's slightly cool outside. So you walk out there and you're like, oh my God, it's chilly. I got to put on a jacket. It's so cold, but it's really not. And so that's like somebody coming in and reading your energy. It feels different. It's a different frequency. I'm not around it. Seems like I can't really feel mine. Like I can feel them when they show up, right? Like everybody's dead in my family, but it's not the same. But whenever you're outside and you're sitting in that cold for a long time and you're just like, or that cool weather, and you're like, oh man, the sun is out. Okay. It's not that. Okay. I guess I'll take off my jacket. Yeah. It feels perfectly fine. That's you around your own people. It's because they hang out with you. You're in the same vibrational state. You've been used to them. Just like when you live with your family for such a long time, right? You're used to their energies. And then suddenly you move to a different house and you're like, oh my God, this feels different. It's because you're not in that same pool. Remember that there's like literally you put off electromagnetic field. Like that's just a proven thing. It's an EMF. It's electromagnetic field. I mean, if you want to believe that, go at science, y'all. Like go look at that. And so you get used to those frequencies, just like you get used to the loudness of a television or the loudness of your music. You get used to how bright the lights are. You get used to how loud the sound is. You get used to the people that are near you. And so what you have to do is you have to allow them to leave, or you move into a different situation. The only reason why you feel them more when you're in a state of like sadness or depression, or when you're about to die or something like that, is because your vibration is lower. It's different. If you're just normal, neutral all the time and they're hanging around you, there's just like if you sing a note that's like, and then I sing a note underneath you that said, right, we'll hear that frequency in between. And so when you go to a state of like depression or sadness, or like I'm over it, or maybe you're really anxiety provoking because maybe you find out we have this, and then all of a sudden you feel this person come in, or you get a sign, or you get a symbol, or you're like, oh my God, I had a dream about my mother. It's because your vibration is different. And so then they can show up and you feel the difference, and you go, oh my God, they're there. And so what happens is they bring you back up to your normal natural state, and then you go, oh, they're not there anymore. Well, it's because you're there. They're just there with you.
Again, I don't know. There's so many things that go on in my head, and I don't know if it's all in my head or whatever. And I just figured I'll just leave that to the professionals.
Okay. Well, do you want to try something with me?
Sure.
Okay. So right now, I've been channeling for 6 hours so far. So I can give you a couple of stories on that. So what I want you to do is I want you to get your hands. Okay. And I want you to put them about quarter of an inch apart. Okay. And I want you to sit here for a moment. And remember, focusing is everything. What do we do? Anytime that our eyes, like our physical eyes, attach to something, what are we doing? We're connecting with it. We're focusing. I'm connecting with you. I'm connecting with this light. I'm visualizing and realizing that this is the only thing here, right? So you're giving it energy, you're giving it thought, you're giving it time. And so I want you to go and I want you to get your focus and I want you to put it right on your hands. Okay. And then I want you to focus on that space in between. So like that 1/4 of an inch in between. And then I want you to go, and I want you, as you're focusing there, I want you to just slowly, like barely, don't touch them, but like barely press in and out. And mind you, with everything, it just takes practice. I mean, not everybody gets to be a great pianist when they just go and sit down and bang on the keys, right? And so if you focus on that area, and you shut up, and you press in and out, what you'll start to feel is almost like a magnet repelling each other. That'd be the best way to describe it. Sometimes it can be squishy, or sometimes it can feel like you're like trying to squish a wet sponge, or it's almost like you feel a magnet, like a weak magnet repelling each other. And what you can do is you can make that space a little bit bigger, and you focus in that area, and you'll start to feel that squish. And if you practice on it, I mean, you can make it get bigger and bigger. It doesn't get much bigger than about an inch or two. But that is your EMF. That's all it is. And so
What are you expecting out of that?
it's just your squish. That's just your energy that flows around you. That's it. That's literally your electromagnetic field, but there's like energy that goes off of everything that you can get a scanner and you can see it. So that's that. That's what that is. That's just your energy. That's whatever you get that whoosh, that's what interacts with it. That's what touches that. And so it causes this sensory overload. And so it touches your nerves, which are also what electrodes, right? That's all they are. It's electricity running through to create a nervous system that puts charges and signals in your brain, and then that picks it up and that turns it into a signal that you go, oh my God, that's what that is. It's just energy. That's it. It's just a charge.
I guess I don't know what it is exactly I've been looking for, from the whole thing, but I just, especially the path I'm, going, it's not your average person's path. And I figured, whether people believe or don't believe in prayer or, any type of accountability for any of this, I figure, what do I have to lose by, doing it? And that's the whole thing. I don't know, but I seek guidance, and I'm going, am I getting in my own way? It's like, if there's signs, how do I know? Because I can't see them, or at least I don't think I can feel them or see them or this and that.
So this is the whole thing. Signs, all signs are a repeating pattern that you are picking up on, and you are saying, oh my God, that goes with that person, or that goes with that thing. Do you study the law of attraction at all?
No.
Okay, so I want you to look at the law of attraction. I want you to law of abundance. I want you to look at, I want you to start playing with the universe around you. Signs, it's like your higher self. It's not always mom and dad sending you a bird. If you want a symbol, or quarters, like that's so overused. What you need to do is you need to start creating your own symbols and signs with them. So how do you do that? This is what I'd like you to try. Okay, but you also have to come from a place where, I'm not saying you are, I'm just telling you this. You have to come from a place where it's not pompous, where it's not arrogant, where it's not saying, oh, you have to perform for me, snap, snap, snap. That's what people want. It would be like me telling you, I want you to turn into energy right now. And if you don't, I don't fucking believe that's you. How rude is that? You're still your consciousness. We think because we're super cocky because we have a body, your body dies. If you're a shitty person on the inside, you're going to be a shitty person when you're not. Anyways, not saying you, but that in general. And so what you have to do is you have to help them. You have to assist them in helping you. So how do you do that? Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, talking to them, giving good memories. Those are all charges. That's what prayer is. That's charging. That's connecting. Okay. And so what you end up doing is you ask them for signs. Okay. And you don't just say, I want a sign. Because
no, I think I do.
No, I know, because anything. What if you're not creating a pattern? What if I said I want a sign? Well, here's a damn chapstick on my desk. That's a sign for you, right? And the only reason you'd realize that it was a sign if you saw 19 of them show up in like a 5-day period, then right, that's a pattern. So what you do is when you get, this is my best thing for everybody here. At night, if you want to connect with your loved one, if you want to get a sign, if you want to, not just from your universe or your path or where you want to be, this is for the people that you love, that you lost, that you have an emotional connection with. You need to lay down at night when it's quiet, when you have your phone off, when you have the TV off. And you need to lay there and you need to start, this should all take about a minute and a half. You need to start remembering really good memories. You need to start remembering the way they laughed. You need to start remembering the way it felt when you hugged them. You need to start remembering not the sad points, that's lower vibration, the happy points, okay? You start remembering those. And then you call them in and you say, so-and-so, I'd like to connect with you. That's what I've got to say. And so it happens in that moment. What you'll probably do is you'll end up feeling those like that. That's them showing up because it's interacting with you. And then at that point, what you do is you say, I want to create a sign with you. And so that way I know that it's you. And you pick absolutely anything. Like for my dad, I'll go and I'll change it up, like A Boy Named Sue from Johnny Cash. I'll like sing that in my head, right? Sometimes I'll do, this was one recently. I want to see a hot pink and yellow bug. Have you ever seen a hot pink and yellow bug before?
No.
Like in life? Okay. So this is my dad. It was going to be his anniversary of his death, and I always like to play these games, these sign games. So what I did is I literally saw just like a hot pink and yellow bug, and I'm thinking that maybe it's like an actual Volkswagen Beetle, or maybe it's like some weird cartoon bug I may see somewhere. And you don't go looking for it. You just do your normal thing. And so one day I was getting up to go to the gym. It was actually the day of his anniversary, and I was wearing hot pink pants, and I was wearing a yellow top. And I go, all right, Dad. I was like, I'm going to give you 24 to 48 hours to show this to me. And so I end up, going downstairs to go to the gym, and I am walking down, and all of a sudden I turned and I looked underneath the stairs. And I don't know if you can see that, but that is a hot pink and yellow moth. And interesting enough, hang on, let's see. Do I have, here's the video. Sorry, it's like,
I can see it.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's a little blurry right now. But interestingly enough, the night before, I had been looking into going on vacation for like a week to like get away, and I didn't know where I was going to go. And I was like, all right, the next sign, I was like, if I see a sign, I said that's going to be where I was going. And I was looking in between Utah or upstate New York, or I was looking at Pennsylvania, down in Lancaster area. And I was like, all right, where should I go? And so I did that whole moth thing. And anyway, so I saw that moth. It is called a rose and maple moth, and it is only found in upstate New York. They don't come down to Houston, Texas. I've never seen one. I didn't even know they existed. And so I booked my Airbnb for upstate New York, and on the same day. And so, so all you do is you ask, you see it, you visualize it in your mind's eye, you ask for it, and then you just wait. But you give them 24 to 48 hours, because remember, they're using your energy. It takes them a little bit. They're not a dog and pony show. Think about telling your mom, come on, ho, jump. Like, you don't do that. That's rude. And so you just wait, and then whenever you see it, you need to be amazed. You need to be grateful, and then you do it all over again with a different thing the next night.
Look, I've told people many times, I consider myself very, very fortunate. I had a decent upbringing. I love my parents very much. I have a lot of people in my life that have contributed to my life deeply, and I've lost a lot of great people, and there's a lot of people that, I don't know. It's just, so there's so many people that I would love to think. I think about them all the time. I mean, it's just because they were good times. I had one friend that I lost on a motorcycle accident that one night when I hooked up with him, because we used to ride together religiously back in the 90s. And he died one night when we were coming home, and he came to me in a dream 4 months later, unlike anything in my life. And I knew I wasn't supposed to be there, and it was so vivid. And it was only 4 questions I asked him at the same time while I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. And then that was it.
Why were you supposed to be there?
Because where we were standing, I knew that he was already gone, and I could feel the sunlight on my arm. And so even though I was talking to him, asking him questions, in my mind, I knew that I wasn't in my world, I was in his.
Yeah.
This changed me for life.
And you should remember every ounce of that dream, don't you?
Every single second, the feel, everything. And I prayed. I go, I would give anything to have that again, because again, here's a guy who was just a deep friend. I'm going, how is this possible? You know, and I still have his motorcycle. I rebuilt it from the ground up, and I don't even ride the damn thing because I don't have time. But I said I'll put it on the wall, like at the Hard Rock, before I ever get rid of it, and because that dream meant so much to me. But well, how is that possible? Am I freaking myself out?
No. So all that is, the way you know a visitation dream versus something that you made up is that you will remember that dream. You'll remember every sensation. You'll remember the feeling of the sunlight. You'll remember the smell. It will feel more real than reality itself. And it will be sometimes in very random locations. Like my first, I've only had like 3 visitation dreams from my father since he died in 2019. But my most real one is that I met him inside of a mall food court. And he was there, and it was like he was like from 1985. It was very interesting. My dad was 86 when he died, and I was 30. So you do the math on that. And so that would have been the prime of his life, right? And I met him there. I remember feeling the hug and hugging him on his leather jacket, and what that was, and the way he smelled, and how he laughed in my ear, and like how we ate ice cream together. I had cookies and cream, and he had butter pecan, and I remember like just like everything. I remember having one about my dog when he died, and I remember being able to feel like the bumps and ridges on his nose. That's you connecting. Whenever you go to sleep, what do you think you do? You think you just like lay there and you're dead? No, but you have your higher self. You're connecting. It's download. Like that's not just energy. Again, it just goes. It's like I don't know. I studied quantum physics for 2.5 years to try to figure out what this stuff was, and took classes at Yale, and all I can figure is that it's a vibration. And in a way, when you're over there, you're in much more of a dream here than you are over there. But right now, this is our mission. This is our understanding. This is where we learn. This is where we comprehend. This is where we, one of my favorite phrases is on the stage of life, whenever the curtain goes down, the hero and the heroine walk out in front of it. They hold hands, they bow, and then they go back, change outfits, and they come back again and do it again.
Last question.
Yeah.
You think everything happened? Well, that's okay. I don't want to, I don't want to let you go because I got so many questions, but I'm going to end it with this for you.
I can do 2 more. And then I have to go eat dinner with my husband because it's 10 o'clock at night.
I know it is, and I feel bad. I thought I was going to keep you for like 50 minutes, but it's impossible. And I'm greedy. I want you
I know.
to be here. Do you think everything happens for a reason? The old adage, everything happens for a reason.
Duh, yeah. Yeah. And if you become aware of how everything is connected, then you'll see that. And that's what I think I want you to learn, that everything is connected. I mean, what you do, what you look at, what you see, there's signs that the universe gives back to you all the time. Okay, example. I like to play the game of, what am I going to see today? So in the morning, I actually do it with my husband. And I go, all right, what do we want to see today? And like today, I was like, all right, I want to see an ostrich. Where am I going? I'm going to the doctor to get scans, and I'm coming home, and I'm doing my stuff, right? And so anyway, so I'm driving home from the doctor's office, and the only thing that I get on my phone is I get like this meme from my mother-in-law, and it says, it's a ostrich meme, and it says like, don't stick your head in the sand, right? So it's like, random, like that thing shows up. That's creating stuff in the universe. Everything happens for a reason. If I didn't have the chronic illness and debilitating disease that I have, then I wouldn't be doing what I do right now. If I didn't have cancer, I wouldn't be here. If I hadn't have, met my husband, this one, I probably wouldn't be as happy. If I hadn't met my husband back when I was 19 and didn't want to get married to him, then I wouldn't have my son. And then I had a hysterectomy at 22, so I couldn't have any more kids, right? If I didn't decide to, wake up 10 minutes early this morning because my cat came in and yelled at my ear, then I never realized that my alarm hadn't been set, so I would have missed my appointment at 6 a.m., right? So everything happens for a reason. Everything. And if you the whole thing is that we're so caught on this narrow viewpoint that if you just step back and like looked at the whole picture for a moment, then you realize it's all connected.
I'm not here if anybody calls.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. It's my kid's dad. I'm gonna have to go bring the tablet in just a second. But yeah, no, everything. Like meeting you. There was a reason for it. I'm gonna have a session with you later. There's a reason for it because we have a lot of stuff we gotta work through and like move that on and under. It's like it's interesting because this is the way you feel. You have this top level wonderful persona that's there, and it's great. Mind you, I don't judge. I don't get into any of that. We all have our shit. I mean, hell, I'm dying every single day. Like, whatever. But, this top level wonderful persona, you have an ability to be way, way too hard on yourself. That's the Virgo part that comes through. You have the ability to not see how great you are, and so you have to, keep overanalyzing over it and how you will get there. You are going to get there. Stop it. Shut up. Just really realize that you will be fine. Then you have on top of this really, really nice guy type of personality that you battle with back and forth and like being tough, being not. Am I too tough? Am I too this? Blah, 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 this back and forth thing. You're just great the way you are. Leave it alone. When you're going through and you talk down on yourself and then you tell it and then you compare yourself with others, you don't need to. You're in a category of your own. Everybody's in a category. Sorry, I'm not looking at you because I'm trying to sit here and zone out at the same time. Then you go and you have like this wonderful mother that keeps pushing you through this, trying to get into your softer side over and over again. Then you have this dad that's there and he's patting you on your back, but he goes and he hangs out with your daughter because he feels like she needs more support in a way. Then you have that. I don't think you need to ride that motorcycle, by the way. Please don't ride that motorcycle. I don't even know if you can actually ride it though right now. Is it like not fully built to where you can ride it? I mean, it's built.
It's built. It needs a new battery right now, but
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm like, oh, does he ride it? And they talk about like not being able to ride it. So I was like, how does that work? Because the battery thing. And so yeah, like you just need to have not more confidence in yourself, but just be more comfortable that you're exactly where you need to be.
They always hated motorcycles. Wait. They always my parents hated motorcycles. I literally bought a Harley before I moved from Pensacola to LA and didn't tell them, and they didn't know for 5 years. But they always hated motorcycles, so that's just them.
Yeah.
What I mean?
They said they don't like that you're riding that, so that goes along with their personality, or they don't like that you would ride it. And then I go, oh, so how often does he ride it? And they said, no, he can't take it out right now. That's why I was like, oh, you can't take it out right now? That's where that little thing goes. And so
I like riding though, but I don't ride like I used to. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Nothing like a beautiful day in Southern California on the PCH, and I know you know that right now.
I do. I totally know. But yeah, you'll be okay. There's a lot more that we need to go into. But yeah, we'll figure that out.
Either way, and again, I don't know when we will. To me, it'll be another miracle if I can find the time with you, because I know how you are, but I just hope you don't forget what you're talking about.
No, what do you mean?
I mean, what you claim that you need to tell me that,
Oh, no, it'll just come up whenever we get there. So what it feels like, what it feels like, it's like, best way to describe it, it's like needing to go pee really bad, right? You don't forget the feeling of needing to go pee very bad. It's just like, but you can like subdue it for a little bit and then it'll come back up again. It's like, whoa, we're going to talk about it. Like, that's the way it feels.
Because I don't care if we talk at 4 a.m, or whatever, whenever you're awake and you're free, because the problem with you is you have less free time. I'm pretty busy, but you are really busy.
I don't have any.
It's taken me 9 months to get almost 10 months to get to you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm very, very thankful for the time we've had right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I wanted to do real quick. I want people to know how to get a hold of you. And right there, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to book sessions, even though you're booked out, how far in advance right now?
I don't know, a year.
Oh, I know you're like wow, you're busy.
It's interesting. Yeah,
and you're getting busier, and I don't know what's going on in the professional end of it, the Hollywood side of you, but
back and forth right now.
Yeah, and this is cool. This is really cool, because I wish I had you sitting right next to me doing this, but this is the next best thing, and there's so much more. I mean, I wish we could have done it a little bit differently, but I'm so grateful for what we've done right now. I mean, I really am. You don't know. I have been talking you up amongst my circle for the longest time, because that's how much I think of you. I just do. I mean, I got a lot of people that I'm very fond of, but you just touch me watching, and I'm going, I don't know. She's the shit. You're not guessing. I don't think you kind of, people would come in and you go, she doesn't ask you questions. She's telling you so-and-so is right here right now, and you're, this and that.
Yeah, that's it.
It's different.
Yeah.
Different. And again, we didn't go into. We went into half of my life, and we obviously, for whatever you don't want to say, that it must be deep.
Well, it's not deep. I don't know. I guess you would call it ethical. Like, there's some things that, like, me personally, like, I don't know. I take clients as, like, how I would want. Like, I don't want that.
I chose to put myself out there tonight, with you as an example. Once again, leading by example. I used to tell a lot of details about my divorce because everybody thinks it's just them. Why me? Why me? My mantra is, you're not alone.
No.
Because so many people will self-destruct, tearing themselves apart, thinking, why me? And so I figured, let me bring people in to share their stories, including myself, but I don't want to always talk about myself. I'm not proud nor ashamed.
No, I know.
It's just life.
I know. It is life. It's beautiful and crazy and wonderful, and I love it.
You tell about yourself all the time. I mean, you talked about the things, your divorce. You've talked about your surgeries. You've died. I mean, people need to know because it's not just you that goes through this crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
But people that want to get a hold of you, I mean, they can get a hold of you, www.thebeleskyexperience.com.
Yep. Correct.
But I don't want people to forget, too, because TikTok, I got to tell you, I wasn't a big TikToker, but there's a lot of stupid shit on TikTok, but there's a lot of intelligent people that do some good stuff on TikTok, too. And you're one of them. You got 3 million people, and you're on how many days a week? 4 days a week?
4, yeah.
Just talking, life experience, talking.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah. And people need it. They need to talk. They need to hear. They need to listen. They want to know. I have people that email me and they're like, "You're not on live yet. Where are you at? I need you today." And I'm like, and so now it was just me just coming on live and talking, and now it's like it's like a thing. Like, people wait for it to come on, and they all say first. Like, within 2 minutes, there's 700 people. And then it goes up to like 3,000 sometimes.
I've seen thousands. I've seen thousands on your live, and just watching it. Everybody's like, "Oh, is my father around?" I mean, you don't do that, but you just talk about stuff, and there's a lot of philosophy behind what you talk for a young girl. I mean, and you are, I'm twice your age, probably almost. And the thing is, but I dig what you do, and I thank you for coming onto this show to share.
Anytime.
Well, don't say anytime because it's hard.
Yeah.
I'll get you again. Hopefully at another level, because I'm going to chill and relax, and life is just going to take us where it takes us.
Well, you have to have a thought. You have to have a vision. You have to feel it. Okay, wait. Thought, vision, feel it. No regrets, no questioning, and then allow it to flow.
You know what? I think I do, but I'm no perfect.
You don't. You're kicking yourself. Shut up. Go back and listen to that recording, and you listen to it.
I will.
And you look in yourself in the mirror, and you say, "Shut up. I will be great." That's what you say to yourself.
Say what?
You say, "Shut up. I will be great." You look at yourself in the mirror, and you tell yourself that.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
As soon as we get off the air.
Okay. All right. I gotta go. My husband needs me. Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Amie Balesky right here. Again, you can find her. I know, and give your husband a hug, okay? Because I appreciate it. I know you're taking time. Right? He's giving you the look. I get the look too, but only for Pepsi. But he's not here tonight. Amie Balesky, you can find her on the Balesky Experience. Just look her up. Well worth every second when you find her, especially on TikTok too. What's your thing on? Are you just Amie Balesky on TikTok?
Just the Balesky. That's it.
The Balesky. Okay, on TikTok. Anyway, Listen. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you.
I love you.
And again, I don't know when I'm going to get to talk to you to find out what I need to know, but
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay. I love you.
Good night. No, I love you too, and give him a hug, and I appreciate his time.
Right. I will. Bye, baby.
All right, bye, baby. There you go. This is going to be the longest show I think I've ever done, but I had to do it because I believe in what she's doing so much. Amie Balesky, okay? TheBaleskyExperience.com. That's her website, YouTube, or her website. You can find her. But on TikTok, she's strong on TikTok, and she talks about stuff, and I think it's good for your soul. It's good for you. So if you're a TikToker, you might want to look her up and tell her the Peter G Show sent you. But I would do that. This is the longest show I think we've done, period. And I don't care because it was worth it. I put myself out there as I've always done. I haven't done this in a long time like this. But I'm just letting you guys know that we're all just people. We do what we do. I do what I do. I never said I had the perfect plan or anything like that. I just love what I do. And I wanted to do it not only for me, but I wanted to do it for you too. It's that important. Because what I do for me, yes, I like what I do, but I love what I do when I know that it's helping you too. So that's basically it. I hope you got something out of this tonight. Don't forget next week, July 20th, Wednesday, July 20th, Matthew Myers. We're going to completely switch gears, and we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Port Authority, all the ships that come in, how they move containers around when we were having all those issues about shipping and all those ships sitting out at sea waiting to get unloaded, the truckers, the this, the that. He's going to explain how that all kind of works because that's what he does. On top of that, we're going to talk about some personal stuff with him as he lost his wife to ALS. ALS is a horrific cancer, multiple sclerosis, nerve, muscular dystrophy. It's just a horrendous illness that is just slow and agonizing. And I want to touch on that too. So it's going to be a really weird combination of show, but to me, any show we do that brings out some information is worth a show doing, just like this one. Believe me, I got nothing to hide. I mean, I'm just thankful we're here. So I love you guys. Thank you all for tuning in, putting up. Again, if you want to get a hold of Amie or talk to her, go to the Balesky Experience, or go to the Balesky on TikTok. Check her out. I'm really grateful for her. You have no idea the back and forth, how long it took for us to get together because she's that busy. But now, it's like, whew, I finally got her because we were, she canceled one time. She got double booked, and it took all this time to get her back on. And I'm truly, truly grateful. That's it, folks. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. And again, I lead by example. Life is short. Let's make it the best we can. I mean, I try to practice what I preach, but apparently I'm still just, trying to make my way through it all. And I know I am too. It's like, being a Monday morning quarterback is much easier to look back and go, you're screwing up. You're messing up here and this and that. And I look at that after the fact. But when you're in the here and now, you think you're doing the best you can. And sometimes, you listen to some people, as I listen to some people. And but nobody's perfect, but let's make the best of life that we can. All right. My name is Peter G. I want to thank you for watching Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show, right here on this channel. Don't forget the podcast. Google Peter G podcast, and you can listen to it on the go. And that's it. Just watch. I'm appreciative for anybody who watches and takes the time. This show extremely, extremely deep. Again, I could be the guy who just stays shiny and doesn't let these things affect other things, but I'm okay with that. I am. I truly believe it takes this to get to that, and or that. Take this and that. I'm not ashamed or proud. Actually, I'm proud. Could be worse, but we're always striving to be better. Be a good human being. I love you guys. My name is Peter G. I'll talk to you next week. Tune in, and as always, love you guys. Peace out.
Peter G Show. Peter G Show.